Have you ever gone backpacking during the winter? While most places are still covered with snow and rain, I decided to go on a winter camping trip in Arizona last week and backpack through the Superstition Mountains. The Superstition Mountains, or the Supes as the locals refer to them, are one of the premier hiking and backpacking destinations in the Southwest. After this trip, I can see why. Join me today as I go backpacking with 3 of my students in my online backpacking program for women, the Confident Solo Female Backpacker System. Alexis, our fabulous trip leader and local guide, along with Chevelle, Kelly, and myself, went on an epic winter camping trip into the Superstition Mountains in Arizona, located an hour east of Phoenix. Here, we got to experience the beauty of hiking in the high desert landscapes, rugged peaks, cacti, and tons of panoramic desert views. This was my first time hiking in the Superstition Wilderness, and it was pretty epic. I also got to try out a couple new pieces of backpacking gear on this trip as well. Why a winter camping trip in Arizona, and why the Superstition Mountains? I've always been a huge fan of the Grand Canyon ever since hiking there for the first time back in 2016. It's where I got the inspiration to thru hike the Pacific Crest Trail. But since the Grand Canyon is located in a national park, backcountry permits can be really hard to come by. Next to the Grand Canyon, the Supes are Arizona's most photographed landmark, so I wanted to see them for myself. Apparently, the Supes are home to one of the most famous legends of lost gold. Legend has it that Jacob Waltz, or the Dutchman, discovered a large gold mine somewhere out in the Supes in the late 1800s. It is said that he never revealed the exact location of his gold mine and that it has never been found. We ended up not finding the gold mine on our trip either. But we did find incredible warm weather while we were out there. I live in a place where it snows for most of the winter, so the idea of going backpacking in February in a beautiful area with warm, sunny weather really intrigued me.
Brighter than our mornings come before. Don't be late, my dear. Life won't wait. Don't be late. When the day is longer than the night, the road ahead is clear and in the light is clear. Don't be late, my dear. Life won't wait, my dear. Don't be late.
Woo! Almost got my feet wet anyway.
When the evening falls across the land and your lover's reaching you the hand.
As part of the Confident Solo Female Backpacker System, I lead group trips for students who have completed the program. Over the last 2 years, we've gone hiking and backpacking to some pretty beautiful places. And since I have students located all over the country, I wanted to scout out new locations in different states for our future group backpacking trips. When Alexis offered to show us around her home mountains in Arizona, I was more than happy to take her up on her offer. Our route for this trip would be a 17-mile thru hike starting from the Boulder Trailhead. Over the next 3 days and 2 nights, we'd make our way to the Peralta Trailhead while getting to see all kinds of beautiful viewpoints and landscapes along the way. I even got to try out some new backpacking gear. Thanks to my friends over at Gossamer Gear who are also sponsoring this video, I tried out a brand new tent for this trip. This is also the same small cottage company who makes my beloved backpacking pack, the Mariposa 60, that I've been using over the last few years. Gossamer Gear sent me their Ultralight backpacking tent, the One, for this trip, and I kind of love it. Here's why. First of all, let's start with the weight of this tent. The One is an ultralight trekking pole backpacking tent and uses 2 trekking poles as the structure of the tent instead of needing 10 poles. The total weight of this tent with the shelter, stuff sack, stakes, and extra cord is 22 ounces, which is a little more than a pound. The body of the tent and tent floor are made of a lightweight waterproof nylon material and has factory tape seams. The dimensions of the bathtub floor are 43 inches long, with the head end width being 33 inches across and the foot end width being 21 inches across. I'm 5'7" and was able to fit my regular length inflatable sleeping pad with a light pad underneath with no problems. I like to store my pack on the inside of my tent at the foot of my sleeping pad and was able to do that inside this tent easily. As we all know, backpacking gear can be really expensive, and price might be a consideration for you when shopping for a tent. At the time of this video recording, the One sells for $255 on the Gossamer Gear website. Not too shabby for an ultralight backpacking tent. I spent over $400 on my previous backpacking tent, and it was way heavier and even broke on me multiple times while using it out in the backcountry. The One is considered a 3-season single-walled tent, which means the body of the tent and rainfly are combined into one system. There's no inner mesh, no outer rainfly, and no extra material or tent poles you have to pack and carry. Depending on how close you're camping to water, there could be some condensation on the tent, but I'm finding that this is the name of the game for any single-walled tent. It's the small price you pay for the huge weight savings. I've been using a freestanding tent for years, and wanting to make the switch to a trekking pole tent has been kind of intimidating, so I love and appreciate just how easy this tent is to set up. To set up the One, all you need to do is set your trekking poles to 125 centimeters, lay out the ground sheet, lay out the tent on top of the ground sheet, stake out all 4 corners at a 45-degree angle. In front of the tent near the door, insert a trekking pole with the handle at the top and then put the tip into the grommet. Then stake out the front door vestibule. You'll then repeat this on the back side of the tent with the other trekking pole. Once you've got both trekking poles up and both vestibules staked out, tighten each of the 4 corners. You can also give the tent structure a little more stability by attaching each of the trekking poles to the outside of the tent. The One comes with 6 stakes, but if you add 4 more, you can use those additional stakes to stake out the bathtub floor for more room inside the tent. Then, unpack your pack, set up your sleeping system, and you have your home for the night on trail ready to go. Notice how the front and back side of the tent are different. The vestibule in the back of the tent doesn't go down as far, but provides a ton of ventilation. There's also one door in the front of the tent, which also helps make setting up the tent really easy. You can roll up both sides of the vestibule and allow for even more airflow. Inside the tent, there's one interior pocket, which is where I keep my battery pack and headlamp. The inside of the tent has a fully enclosed bathtub floor, which provides plenty of protection from outside dirt, elements, and bugs. There's plenty of headroom inside when you sit up, even when sitting on a fully inflated sleeping pad. And if you want even more headroom, you can always attach the extra guy lines on the outside of the tent and stake them out when setting the tent up. Also, the vestibule is quite spacious. I normally keep my shoes and extra water out here, but if you needed to, you'd have plenty of space to use your stove in this covered area if you were caught in a storm. I'm super excited and really appreciative of Gossamer Gear because they help support me getting to go on some of my epic backpacking adventures. For this trip, they not only hooked me up with the One tent, but also their Light Trek hiking umbrella and the hands-free umbrella clamp. First time using an umbrella and I kind of love it. I can understand why people use these. I'm out here with zero shade and I'm creating my own shade and it's amazing. I don't even have to hold it because I've got the little attachment here on my pack strap. Desert must for me from now on. I don't care if I look ridiculous. I am not getting heat stroke. The umbrella and hands-free clamp were super clutch for hiking in the desert. The umbrella itself is full size, super light, and I can use it hands-free while still being able to use both of my trekking poles while I'm hiking. This was my first time ever hiking with an umbrella, and I now understand what the hype is about. If you want to see the complete list of all the backpacking gear I brought with me for this trip, along with the links to all the gear mentioned in this video, check out my Superstition Mountains backpacking gear list, which I'll include a link to down in the video description below. Thank you, Gossamer Gear, for the gear hookup and for helping to support my channel. One thing we were all kind of worried about on this trip was the water situation since we'd be hiking in the desert. But thanks to all of the recent rains, there were plenty of water sources along the way and numerous water crossings we had to navigate through along our route. A huge bonus for doing this backpacking trip here in February. There weren't a whole lot of crowds while we were out there. We pretty much had our pick of the campsites along the way. Campsites are first come, first serve, no permits needed. Just make sure you pick a campsite that's already been camped at before instead of creating a new one. So my final thoughts about the Supes? I love them. This trip was another reminder of why I love desert hiking so much, especially during the winter where it's cold and snowy everywhere else. These group trips and getting to meet other like-minded women hikers and backpackers out on trail have been hands down my most favorite part of creating the Confident Solo Female Backpacker system. If you want to learn more about how this program can help you achieve your backpacking goals this year and want to see if this program is a good fit for you, click the link down in the video description below to learn more about the Confident Solo Female Backpacker system. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy trails and keep on trucking.